Hey guys, it's Kenny here from the Fantasy Golf Degenerates and the FantasyFanatics.com, bringing you my cash game cornerstones for this week's WGC Mexico Championship. Now, before we get into this week's tournament, let's recap my picks from last week. Last week's Honda Classic went 4 for 4 once again last week, which makes it 2 weeks in a row. I guarantee I will go 4 for 4 this week as well. Yeah, it's definitely a no-cut event, so everyone, I better get 4 for 4 out of 4 unless someone withdraws. But back to last week, my picks. They were Sergio Garcia, Paul Casey, Brendan Steele, and Kevin Kisner. Sergio, he did well last week, finishing in 14th place. Paul Casey finished 11th. Brendan Steele finished 14th. It wasn't looking too good for him early on with his 9 during the first round, but he came back really strong. Even though he finished 14th, he was actually the 6th highest scoring golfer on DraftKings. Finally, Kisner, he finished in 48th, which was a little bit disappointing because he was hovering around the top 10 going into Sunday, only to shoot a 77 and come, careening down the leaderboard. So now, let's move on to this week as golfers head to Mexico City at the Club de Golf Chapultepec. I think I said that right. It's a tough name to pronounce. This is the brand new course for the players on tour, which always makes it a little bit more tricky for us DFS players. There's no course history. There are no stat trends. So we're going in sort of blind. Now, the course itself is tight off the fairways with a heavy tree presence on both sides of the fairway. The greens are POA, and they're heavily sloped, undulating, and fast. Bubba Watson said in an interview earlier this week that he thinks the stimp is going to be around 13. Also, the course is in high altitude, so balls will travel a lot further. The card says the course is around 7,300 yards, but with the altitude, it should play well under 7,000, maybe closer to 6,800, 6,700 yards. Now, there has been some chatter online that Riviera Country Club, Torrey Pines, and the Cran-sur-Sierra Golf Course, where the Omega European Masters are held, are correlating courses. Now, when it comes to stats this week, I'm just looking at the basics, strokes gained tee to green, strokes gained approach. Strokes gained approach seems important just because this is a second shot course. Because of how short the course is going to play, many golfers will be using less than driver off the tee. And, of course, I'll be looking at birdie or better percentage, which is something that you should look at every week due to the DraftKings scoring system. But even more so this week because it is a no-cut event. Now, when it comes to the breakdown on the spreadsheet this week, I'll be weighting stats at 55%, current form at 35%, and course history at those correlated courses I just talked about at 10%. Now, let's get to the picks. First up, it's going to be Henrik Stenson at $10,300. I do think the 4 golfers ahead of him in price, Dustin Johnson, Spieth, Rory, and Decky, are all viable cash options this week, but I'll take the discount and go with Stenson. He's been hot lately with 6 consecutive top 10s worldwide. He's a great ball striker who is extremely accurate off the tee with his trusty 3-wood. Now, Stenson rarely hits his driver, which is fine because this is a less-than driver course, and he hits his 3-wood pretty long ways, and it's very accurate. He's very good with irons, and as we saw last year at the Open, when his putter gets hot, he's hard to beat. Next up, it's going to be a familiar face. I'm going to go with Sergio Garcia again at $8,500. Now, Sergio, he could have done a lot better last week if his putter didn't go cold. His tee to green game was superb, though he gained 8 strokes on the field from tee to green. He also has had success at Riviera and at Cran-sur-Sierra. If he hits the ball like he did last week and his putter comes alive just a little bit, I wouldn't be surprised if he's contending coming Sunday. Next up, it's going to be Martin Keimer at $7,500. I really love his price this week, as he has as much upside as any golfer not named Roy, DJ, or Spieth. He struggled a bit last year, but is finding his form as he's had 4 top 10s in his last 9 starts worldwide. He played extremely well last week, finishing in 4th at the Honda, and he was excellent with his irons and putter. He gained nearly 4 strokes on the field on approach shots and nearly 3 strokes on the field on the greens. He finished second at Cran-sur-Sierra a few years ago, And I think another top 5 for him, it's not out of the question this week. My final pick, it's going to be Bill Haas at $7,000. You know, Haas has quietly had a strong, consistent season, making all 6 of his cuts and never finishing outside the top 20. His lone top 5 this season was at the WGC event in the fall. So you know playing with the big boys doesn't really faze him. He has been making a good amount of birdies this year, and he's actually 3rd in par 4 scoring so far this season. He seems underpriced, and I like him a lot this week in all formats. So let's recap my 4 cash game cornerstones for this week. They're going to be Henrik Stenson at $10,300, Sergio Garcia at $8,500, Martin Keimer at $7,500, and Bill Haas at $7,000. Now, if you use these 4 golfers in your cash lineup this week, you'll still have over $16,000 to play with underneath the cap. Well, that's it for this week. Make sure you subscribe to this YouTube page so you can get notified when all the videos for the fantasyfanatics.com are up. Check out Brad's GPP video, iPod Todd's European video, and all the strategy content and tools put out by the Fantasy Fanatics. Now, good luck, guys. Let's win some money this week.